Keir Starmer can show UK is open for business, says former Bank of England chief economist Andy Harding. The UK can strike a US deal with Donald Trump while also rebuilding EU relations after Brexit to cement its status as a beacon of stability in an increasingly volatile world, a leading economist has said. Andy Harding, the former Bank of England chief economist, said Keir Starmer's government could show the UK was open for business at a time when so much of the world is looking inward, whether to the EU or the US. It could really pay dividends. After Trump's election victory, the Prime Minister has faced competing demands, urging him to pick a side in trade talks with Washington and Brussels, just as he had begun to push to mend fences with Europe. So you see, the situation that the UK is facing is a total case of that the Conservative government failed the citizens of UK, failed the UK, starting from Boris Johnson. This is what happens in everyday's politics all over the world, because the politicians only think about themselves. The only thing they think is about what they can use to get the numbers, to win the election, to remain in power, to remain in control. Because that is why starting from Boris Johnson Conservative government, you see that the Boris Johnson government never considered what will be the outcome of this decision he took. He never really concerned himself how it's going to affect the UK as a country, how it's going to affect the UK citizens. But at that point in time, the only thing he cares about is to get what the people want to hear and use it to win the election. And then the past Conservative government followed suit. So this current Labour government now is to try to amendment, to try to correct the failure of Boris Johnson's government and the past Conservative governments. Is a total case study. Anyway, it will take him a whole lot to do, because Donald Trump is not an easy man to deal with. So he must have come up with something that is appealing to America, to Donald Trump, and to Donald Trump's government. In terms of Brussels, they have a whole lot of hurdles to face in many fronts. So it's now left for him to tighten his seatbelt and do his homework properly and be able to correct the failures of the past two governments before his own government came in.